Good evening everyone. Lovely to see you all here at this most gorgeous venue, Juniper Barn. And before we even begin, I'd like to say a huge thank you to Dorothy and Chris Kitchen for accommodating us here this evening in Juniper Barn. So let's give them a round of applause. They're incredible hosts. And thank you all for coming along to be with us here this evening. And to everyone who's watching from home, you're very welcome to be joining us virtually. If you want to send any messages or comments to anybody here in the audience or the musicians, there's a comments section which is to the right of your screen, and you can post comments there. Just before we begin, I'll let you know the format of the evening. We're going to be starting with Maija Sofia. She's playing for about 35 minutes. Then we'll take a short break. The bar will be open again and you can go over to the lawn marquee. And then after the break, we'll be back again for Colm Mac Con Iomaire. And for those of you at home, during the break, put the kettle on or whatever you're into and have a little break as well, but make sure you come back and join us again afterwards. So it's just really lovely to be having a live music gig, and again outdoor in this really incredible venue. And it's so lovely that everyone can join us from home as well. So we've totally embraced the hybrid festival and have had a week of live indoor and outdoor events and live streamed and online events. And tomorrow's our last day, so if you're at a loose end, look at cordiafestival.com and come and join us for some more activities. So before we begin, Maija Sofia, she's an Irish singer-songwriter from County Galway. Her debut album, Bath Time, has received unanimous praise in Ireland and further afield, and was also nominated for an RTE Choice Music Prize. Her music has been described as quietly breathtaking and a unique emerging voice on the Irish folk scene. So please give Maija Sofia a very warm welcome. Thank you.
Coming. Thank you, Tara and Carja, for having me. This is my first time on a stage in a while. Thank you. It was round and about last Martinmas time, when the green leaves they were swelling. Of the West Country, fell in love with Barbary Allen. He sent his men into the town, to the place where she was dwelling. Oh, will you come to our master? Barbary Allen. And slowly got she up, and slowly came she nigh him. And all she said when there she came, young man, I think you're word from you would revive me again. Oh, lovely Barbary Allen. Do you recall, young man, she said, when the red wine you were spilling, how you made the lady's health go round, and you slighted Barbary Allen? Oh, death is printed on his face, and all his heart is stealing. But again he cried as she left his side, hard-hearted Barbary Allen. As she was going o'er the field, she heard the death knell tolling. With every sound that death knell gave, hard-hearted Barbary Allen. Oh, mother, mother, make my bed. Oh, make it soft and narrow. For Jimmy died for me today. I'll die for him tomorrow. That's a really old song that some of you probably already know. It's hundreds of years old, and there's been many versions by lots of different people over the years. But the rest of these songs are all a lot more recent and are all by me. So this song is called The Glitter. I just changed my strings, which they never stay in tune when you do that. This song is called The Glitter. Thank you. Changed her world, she became a chorus girl in feathers and sequins and long strings of pearls. But nobody liked the sound of her voice, too thick like molasses, too foreign and coy. Bloomsbury Square, we counted the birds. I said to the magpie, I'm the shiniest girl. We lived out of cafes and bars through the winter. How did we pare the love down to a splinter? Well, Jean, she grew thin. I the lights hum and flicker. Jean, do you remember how we danced through the glitter? Jean, do you remember how we danced through the glitter? Jean, do you remember how we danced through the glitter? Jean, do you remember how we danced? And my God's a good God, you say, without whisper, but no God is true. And I swear I'm not bitter, but I used to dream of towers and pillars, and I still believe in red neon flickers. Do you think one day, baby, I'll be rich or pretty? Do you think one day, baby, I'll move back to the city? And do you think all the birds still flock to the square? And do you think if I looked, I might find you there? This song is another song from my album called Bath Time, and this is called Edie Cedric. It's kind of a love song, I suppose. Just a strange thing to think about when I think maybe all songs are kind of love songs in a way, but this one's a love song anyway. Heavens appear to bear a wound. Still I wait at the gates, and you're already late, but I'm still in love with you. I'm so in love. So let the days run away, we don't need them to stay. Paint star maps on my arms, babe, and I'll let them lead the way. We won't come to any harm, our boat waits in the bay. So let's jump from the decks, my dear, we're sinking anyway. Your knees I was some new age Beatrice, some Edie Sedgwick, bulimic priestess. I made my dress from seaweed and cigarettes, and baby I'll internalize the bad things I can't forget. I call upon the medicine man, he reads the lines in my hands. I come down with the falling dew. I didn't think I'd get close to you till I saw your face in the dregs of my cup and caught your heart at the end of my hook. Who'd have thought it would have to come back to old act of letting blood. Well, I warned you I would be no good after all. I am no good. But on your knees I was a fallen queen, some Ozymandian tragedy, and I made my dress from handfuls of old cobwebs, and baby, I'll eroticize the bad things I can't forget. Consult the charts, the ephemeris, and list the names of boys I've kissed. Count the knots and measure the wind. Will I always be your favorite thing? I reeled you in and you drew closer. I never meant to fuck you over. Your limbs draped across my shoulders. Once a feather, now a boulder. So let the days run away. We don't need them to stay. Paint star maps on my arms, babe, and I let them lead the way. We won't come to any harm. Our boat waits in the bay. So let's jump from the decks, my dear. We're sinking anyway. So weird to have a crowd of people in front of me. Ugh, I've been a complete hermit for so long. Speaking of being a complete hermit, I don't know, I think it was a common phenomenon that people started having really intense dreams, or more vivid dreams than usual during lockdown, or maybe we were just didn't have much else going on, so we tuned in more closely to our dream worlds. And this song came to me in a dream, as weird as that sounds, and it was a strange experience. I was asleep and I woke up and I was suddenly wide awake, and I had this feeling that I needed to write, and then the song came out fully formed. And yeah, here it is. It's called Saint Aquinas. Journey on, forgotten one. The time for you to knock here has been and it has gone. The night that you lit a black candle in my kitchen, you followed me to the bedroom, and there I let you in again. Oh, Saint Aquinas of the ancestors came and wept to me and shook me from my sleep and told me, let go of what is bitter, hold only what is sweet. And something then was lost to me, dissolved into a dream. Journey on in your mother's car. Come pick me up, I'm much too drunk and I don't know where you are. But I followed you out of the window at night to the Sally Gap, where I rest my head on the dashboard and watch you wring your hands. And you pulled up at the edge and said, I don't think we can just be friends. say no time for jokes. I say, what if all your big plans are just 3 small plans in a trench coat? And I know that I'm insufferable. I know you had to go, but if you ever come round here again, you'll have to let me know. Oh. Journey on, we are parallel. I hear my name on the wind sometimes, your voice as clear as a bell. Oh, Saint Aquinas of the ancestors came and wept to me and shook me from my sleep and told me, let go of what is bitter, hold only what is sweet. And something opened up in me, dissolved into a dream. This song is called Smile Please. Don't look, don't speak, don't spit, and don't bleed. We'll make this as easy as can be. But me, I'm the queen of Blessington Street, and this city is rolled out like a carpet for me. When I danced all the way from the basin to the sea, I felt a little volatile, I felt a little free. Smile, please. Smile, please. Look down the lens and show your teeth. And overnight they'll clean the streets, and I'll strip my bed and bundle up my sheets and repeat, this will not be the undoing of me. This will not be the undoing of me. This will not be the undoing you. I hope you're having a nice evening so far. This is such a beautiful place. Even just when I was driving up here, seeing the really old wall covered in moss, I was like, oh wow, I'm coming somewhere really magical, which I was. This song is just a few days old, so I hope I remember all the words. I wrote it in my bedroom a few days ago, and it's called A Weird Night, as in like the round table kinds of night, kind of. Passed out on the bathroom floor of someone else's house, eyes closed against the dirty tiles, wine stains around your mouth. I left you there for the rest of the night. Through the back door I let myself out. The night was cold, it was only October, there was already frost on the ground. It's been about 1,000 mornings since you didn't crawl back to me now. Hungover, sloped across the staircase just to bring my face to your mouth. And I don't know where you're living now. If you ever left your mother's house, with all the books against the windowsill, where we'd curl up in the morning calm downs. Oh, come now, come now. One of us had to get out. I left the city when the seasons changed. There was nothing romantic in the Dublin rain anymore. In the window of a westbound train, I wrote and then I crossed out our names. I keep dreaming up your shape in the doorway, holding a torch in the Oxman town glaze, where we spent all of our Sundays hungover in love and rain. You took a taxi to my house from the suburbs the night I said I'd probably find another lover soon, and you collapsed into my bedroom and said, what is it you still need to prove? Oh, I didn't choose you. One of us always had to lose. It's always summer when I think that I might call you on the long nights, drink a bottle of wine in the grass next to the bandstand, where one night we watched the Russian men break dance, and where we scanned the grass for mushrooms, and where you touched me on a too hot afternoon, and I told you about Chaucer, and you said, okay, I get it, I know you went to school. And love made us so gloomy, the wife of Bath all unraveled and consumed. You look so sickly in the moonlight. Oh, weird night, come back to my room. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm just gonna play one more song for you before I leave you in the lovely hands of Colm Mac Con Iomaire. His sound check sounded so beautiful earlier. It's exciting for me to get to watch a gig for the first time in so long. This song is also from my last album, which I have a few copies of if anyone wants a record or a CD. Thank you so much for listening and for having me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. This song is called The Wife of Michael Cleary. hidden underneath my petticoats of cotton and calico. A gypsy heart and a mad woman's soul. So stir your tea leaves and butter your bread, but the wife of Michael Cleary won't be home again. That night the rage of thunder burned across his chest as he gathered up his hunters and rounded up his men, and they searched among the rivers and the mountains and the glen, but the wife of Michael Cleary won't be home again. And the stars glint like cleavers, my love, it was only a fever. I swear I tried to get clean, but it keeps the bats away and it keeps the devil near. And he would look into my eyes, my two round lapis, as you lie back in our bed. He'd set me a light and we'd cast the demons out all night, till they doused the flames by the holy well, and the smoke filled up the guilty air, and the village smelt like burning flesh as the changeling was put to rest, and all the ladies shook their heads, bit their lips as they softly said, "Oh, the scandal, oh, the mess, the wife of Cleary must be dead." The moon gaped like an open mouth as we stood in shock to watch the flames die down. My baby's safe now, Liverpool bound, and I'm safe from hell in the hallowed ground. And the stars glint like cleavers, my love.
Welcome back to the second part of our wonderful event here at Juniper Barn as part of Cairde Sligo Arts Festival. And welcome back to all of you here and to all of you tuning in from all over the world from your homes. The power of our incredible internet. And before we actually start the second half, I do want to say again thank you to Juniper Barn. Thank you also to the festival's funders, the Arts Council and Sligo County Council, and to all our patrons and sponsors. And a huge thank you to all the volunteers who helped here today to setting up all the tables and chairs, putting up marquees. When I start naming people, I'm going to forget someone, but a big shout out to all of the Cairde volunteers, and thank you for all your help. It takes a lot of people to get a setup like this together. So, yes, give them a round of applause. Thank you. So this concert was actually supposed to take place in 2020. So I'm delighted that we were able to postpone it and that Colm Mac Con Iomaire stayed the distance with us and kept the date for July 2021, and that we managed to, initially was planned indoor at Juniper Barn. When things changed again, we quickly moved outdoor, and I'm not going to even say anything about the weather because that would be problematic, as we all know. So Colm Mac Con Iomaire is an Irish musician who needs very little introduction. Steeped in Irish music from a very early age, together with his friends, he started the contemporary Irish band Keela. He's played for many years with the very well-known The Frames, and as a solo artist, he has released 3 solo albums, the latest of which is The River Holds Its Breath. And I'd like to welcome Colm Mac Con Iomaire, and he's accompanied by Catherine Fitzgerald on keyboard. Please give them a very warm welcome. Thank you very much.
How are we? So I'm your 9 o'clock lullaby, I think. Catherine is going to join in a few minutes. So I'll start with this one, which is a piece I wrote about a friend of mine called Emer. It's called Emer's Dream. If I can remember what button to press. That's the right one. Great. Míle mágah. Ray, you could take my level down up here, please, a little bit. So it's absolutely like a strange dream to be here, as I'm sure you feel similarly, to be out and about. I'm going to play you a piece I wrote about the Liffey. It's kind of a love song to the Liffey. So it was a collaboration where lots of different artists and singers were asked to write their version of the Liffey. So this is what I came up with. It's called From the Mountains to the Sea. Thank you so much. So please, sure, give Catherine a big welcome. Catherine is from Glounthaune in County Cork. Oh yeah. So yeah, I know, blinded by the light. We'll play you a piece. I got invited to write a piece of music that would mark the reopening of the National Gallery in Dublin, which was, an onerous task. So I went in for a visit. It had been closed, or a huge part of it had been closed for a long time, and a lot of the paintings had been kept in storage. And when I went in, and I kind of the idea of beauty in the dark, or these paintings being unseen, kind of struck me. So here's the tune that fell out. Thank you so much. I have to admit to being very nervous. This is very unusual. It's been 16 months since my last confession. What's that? Anybody see a ukulele? Let's go for a costume change. No pressure. As you've noticed, I have the band with me. I call it the Recession Quartet. So this there's an amazing children's theatre company in Galway called Branagh, and a couple of years ago I've done a couple of projects with them, but this was for their puppet theatre mostly, and they have a wonderful ethos where they insist on not patronising their clientele. So like as a result, the shows they make are just kind of people who have no children themselves borrow their neighbours' children to go to their shows. So this is from a show called Blah. Forgotten the next chord, so we're good. Certainly not that chord. so strange. Okay. So this next piece was an invitation came by way of the Irish Writers Centre, and it was in 2016. And they needed music to accompany poems by 6 poets, all written about different days of Easter week. And so I was the fellow who got the job. And when I was thinking of a title, I heard a Scots Gaelic word. It was one of those kind of online things and the word was Sulasta. Now, Sulasta is a word apparently in Donegal Irish as well. Sulas, obviously, is light, but Sulasta is something that's shining. And so this struck me as something that would make sense. And then also in Irish, it's hyphenated. The version we have, which is Sulasta, which means combustible and capable of bursting into flame. So I thought, well, there it is. So Sulasta. So shiny things that can burn down a city. Yeah. Start a big fire. Sorry, lads, that's going to annoy me. And if it annoys me, these instruments haven't been out of their cases, obviously, for 16 months. growing up as a wee boy in Dublin, we spoke Irish, which made us the unusual house on the block. And my father was a sean-nós singer and a collector of songs, and so our house was a bit different. And so from a very young age, any car journey that we made always involved my dad learning sean-nós songs. And as you're you're aware of, these are 15-verse affairs oftentimes, and so it was only later, perhaps, that I fully appreciated the beauty of sean-nós music. But this is a particular song called Lima Roila, which comes from quite near here, in County Mayo, over the border. And the story of this is Lima Roila was marrying Nellie Jordan, a distant relative of Kathy's there, and Nellie ní Húrdan, and they were living on it's in Blacksod Bay, that area, and they were living on a peninsula, and of course back then all of the travel was by boat. There was no road network to speak of, and so the priest had to be brought out from the mainland or from wherever he was. So Liam gallantly sailed over in the morning and picked up the priest. And after the wedding, the priest wasn't feeling well and asked to be dropped home, and nobody else was in fit shape to bring him home. So Liam volunteered, and unfortunately on the way back, a squall blew up, and Liam O'Reilly was lost on his wedding day. So that's shocking. And so this is a song that was written from the point of view of Nellie ní Húrdan. I'm not sure whether it might have been Raftery, but... So, Bod Bon. This fiddle is about the same age as this building. It was a couple of 100 years old, and as you know, wood expands and contracts, so it's been a bit moody. So we're going to play you a piece called Imachlan and Angle. And it's back in 2010, my sister came to the end of her life, and she had been sick with breast cancer for a couple of years, and got better and got worse and got better and got worse. And it came to the day anyway in 2010 when she got promoted, and one of the last conversations I had with her was those fantastic conversations you have with somebody who's ready to go. And so I was asking her, when will Fatty start thriving moss? Are you afraid of death or dying? And she said, Fatty still lie the store. Not a fear in the world. Tom's Imachlan and Angle. We are in the arms of the angels. So afterwards, the phrase stuck, and when eventually music arrived, this was the first piece that arrived. Right. On the recording, there's a choir singing, so you have to imagine them for the first bit. Gurmila Magav. Oh, and her name is Nuala, by the way. She'd murder me if I told the story without saying her name. River? So, I'm not sure what year it was, but a couple of years ago, I think this pandemic thing has thrown our sense of time out of kilter. A number of years ago, I was working with an amazing Irish-American dancer, but a dancer who'd been born in Japan, and she studied Buto, which is it's kind of like after the fall of Japan, the samurai energy kind of got channeled into this art form. So it's very kind of ritualized dance, and so she's fascinating. Her name is Maureen Fleming. So she asked me to write a piece of music for a dance, and at the same time I was writing this, I got a call from my old friend Glenn Hansard, who was at the time had been on the Camino with his friends from Corcorina, Danny Sheehy, Brendan Begley, and the crew, and they'd run into difficulty. They'd got as far as Santiago de Compostela, having rode in stages, and after Santiago, apparently there's another stop that you can make for the hardcore pilgrims that want to keep it going down the coast of Portugal, and so they were crossing. They'd been kind of land bound, or what's the word? They couldn't go out to sea anyway. They were weather bound. That's the word. And for 3 days, and eventually on the 4th day, they decided to chance it. And unfortunately, the boat was smashed, and they made it to the shore. But Danny Sheehy, Donald Makatihi, passed away on the beach. So this music kind of was imbued with that as well. So it's called The River Holds Its Breath. That's for Danny. kind of realize that I'm giving you kind of perhaps a more gothic night than you expected. So we shall play this as a final song, but of course if you wanted more we could play you some more, but we'll have a welcome opportunity to gather breath. So this is called The Finish Line, and it was a piece of music that arrived in the throes of jet lag and in Helsinki in sub-zero temperatures. And it goes like this. Okay, we're in reasonably in tune. Gurmil Wahagav. Are you still here? Thank you so much. I'm going to play you a piece from a project I worked on with Theo Dorgan, one of his poems. I had the pleasure of setting it to music, and it's set in ancient Greece, and it's all about the mythic female poet Sappho. And what more can you say? There's this particular theme is the story roughly is a shipwrecked conscript sailor, and he finds himself in a tavern, and he's wooed by this being, this creature, who kind of she bewitches him. And so the music kind of reels him in, because she needs somebody to give her a daughter. And not to give away the end or anything. So this is called Sappho's Daughter. Me now, that music. See, it drives itself. So this is Sappho's Daughter. Ray, would you turn me down a bit again, please? Gurmila Makav. For this one, I have to give the machine its notes in advance. So, where do I start with this one? This is a piece called The Minbar of Saladin. It's kind of, well, it's fairly new. Hasn't been recorded yet. And it's a piece, at the moment I'm finding my next record is going to be music inspired by Colm Mac Con's novel A Paragon, which is set in the Middle East. I went over there with Colm and an organisation called Narrative 4 in October, November in 2019. And it kind of moved me to music. And it's an extraordinary place, really, in every single way. So we went to Palestine, went to the West Bank, and we were to go to Gaza, except something exploded at the wrong time, so they kind of closed the borders, and we went around to Israel as well. I suppose, like, you know, you're arriving in Nazareth, or, you know, visiting a refugee camp in Bethlehem, and all of these, it's just everything, all of the symbolism and the history and the mythology and the extraordinary place, and a great book I'd recommend. So this piece is a coming together of a dabka, which is the Palestinian dance, or one of their dances, a dabka rhythm I learned in Nablus, and the muezzin, or the call to prayer that I heard in Ramallah in Israel in a Bedouin school, and it all kind of came together in Jerusalem. And the Minbar of Saladin, for the boffins out there, is it's a very incredibly ornate lectern, or a pulpit from the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, and it was the one that was there was, I think, about 900 years old, and nobody could figure out that all of the skills, the carving skills, have been lost. So it took them ages to, unfortunately, it got burnt, you see, so they had to. But they managed to recreate it. So this is the minbar. Míle maith. I believe you've met Catherine before. We're not making it easy on ourselves. This is another new piece, isn't it? Phew. So I'm working on another project with Theo at the moment, based around Amergin coming to Ireland. And I don't know if you know much about Amergin, but Amergin was this kind of, you see a kind of his poem, I'm the mountain, I'm the river. But anyway, he was a visitor to Ireland when he came first. He came from Spain as a representative of the Milesians, and the Milesians supplanted the Tuatha who were the chiefs in these parts for millennia. And so the poem is a conversation between Amergin and the head poetess of the Tuatha. And the piece we're going to play you is called Slán le Héireann, and it's, without giving the game away, it's the Tuatha move to the underworld, where they surface again as fairies. So this story goes that, but it's interesting with Amergin coming from Spain as he did with the Milesians, and that a lot of the scientific and DNA evidence now is kind of pointing that way as well. So it's interesting intersection between myth and history. So Slán le Héireann, so this is at the point at the end where the Tuatha accept the inevitability of the defeat and the Milesians coming, and they decide to move to the underworld. The passing of an age. I think I have to record something here as well. That's a terrible thing. I'm only getting warmed up now. No, we won't stay a lot longer. Great. I'm just remembering now that there are actually there people are tuning in from all sorts of places, like Nate in the Forest of Dean in Gloucester, and Patricia Interlandi, somewhere of Arden, definitely. Ned Mueller and Karen, of course, they're friends of ours in Montana, and Jana, another friend of ours in the Czech Republic. So yes, and not to mention my own family in Wexford. Hello lads, how are you? And Aoife and yeah, these are all there. So what are we going to do next, lads? Oh yeah, see, myself and Catherine haven't played in 16 months. Not that that's noticeable at all. And also when we have been playing the past couple of years, there's a tune, Emer's Dream, you heard it at the start, where the version I do isn't the version that we originally recorded, so I thought it'd be nice to play the original version as well. So this is what we're going to see. You're going to a bit of a reprise. You can get your money back if you're... Maggie. So there's so many people to thank. So Tara, thank you so much for inviting us a year ago. It's a very long way from Dublin, obviously, and Wexford, but we managed to get here in the end. And also Chris and Dorothy as well for hosting us here. It's such a magical setting, so thank you so much. And Ray and Vinnie and Mark and everybody on the cameras. So well done, everybody. And I'm sure, thank you, Catherine. Oh yeah, we have to play something now. We'll play you a piece called Thou Shalt Not Carry Timber, which is an enigmatic title I found on a handmade cribbage board that came from my father-in-law, Jim McNally, who spent years as a deep sea. Cribbage is a card game, and it was kind of a pegboard. And at the bottom, it's kind of like a Monopoly board. Do not pass go, or if you go to jail or whatever, was this Thou Shalt Not Carry Timber. So, which is obviously a tune. So, Gramila Magi. Slán Walla.